Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Hot Girls Eat Carbs. I'm so happy you are here today. I am your host, Brittany McChrystal, and this is your safe space of the internet where we chat all things health, wellness, and sustainable weight loss. If you've been here a while, you'll know I just turned 30, and honestly, hitting that milestone really made me reflect on where I started and how far I've come, and all of the lessons I've learned along the way. Because the truth is, 10 years ago, I couldn't have even imagined being here. Back then, I didn't feel in control of my life. My health wasn't where I wanted it to be, and I had a really complicated relationship with food, and I definitely was not confident in myself. But fast forward to now, I've lost 27 kilos, and I've rebuilt that relationship with food and created a lifestyle that feels balanced, joyful, and aligned with who I am. And trust me, younger me would have never believed that this was possible. Now, just a quick reminder that this is part 2 of this episode, so if you haven't listened to the part 1 yet, then please pause and go back to the first, because trust me, you'll want to hear the first 15 lessons before we finish the list. These episodes were meant to be listened to in order. So today we're diving into the final 15 things I've learned in 30 years. And honestly, these are some of the deepest ones, the perspective shifts, the identity shifts, and the I wish I knew this 5 years earlier kind of lessons. These aren't just about weight loss as well. They're about life, mindset, self-worth, relationships, travel, and learning how to build a lifestyle that actually feels good to live in. Some came from my weight loss, some came from moving countries, some came from mistakes, and some just from humbling me a little bit. All right, so let's get into the final 15. Number 16 is rest is productive. For the longest time, I wore burnout like a badge of honor. I thought that the busier I was, the harder I pushed, the more worthy I was of success. But burnout doesn't make you successful. It just makes you exhausted. And I had to learn the rest as part of the process. Sleep, recovery, days off. They don't hold you back. They move you forward. And resting isn't lazy, it's actually productive. Your body and mind can't thrive without it. Number 17. Travel will break you and open you in ways no book could ever. The biggest lessons of my life didn't come from any course or university. They came from being alone in countries where I didn't speak the language, where I didn't know a single person, and where I had no plan B and I had to figure it out anyway. Leaving Australia and moving across the world by myself was one of the most confronting things I have ever done. Travel doesn't show you new places. It shows you yourself. It forces you to trust your instincts, to surrender control, to feel uncomfortable, and to choose growth anyway. You learn resilience, you learn adaptability, and you learn that you can survive moments you once thought that would break you. Travel doesn't just change your scenery, it changes your identity. It wakes you up, and once you've seen life from a different lens, you will never be the same again. Number 18. Saying no is a full sentence. For years, I felt like I had to explain myself whenever I said no. I didn't want to disappoint people, and I didn't want to seem difficult, but saying yes to everything else was leaving me drained and resentful. The truth is no is a full sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace, and every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to yourself. Number 19, your body is not the enemy, it's your home. For years, I treated my body like it was the enemy. I punished it, I criticized it, I spoke badly to it. But at the end of the day, your body is your home, and it's the one place you're going to live for the rest of your life. When I stopped hating my body and started caring for it, everything shifted. I started to see exercise as something I get to do, not something I have to do. I started to feed myself with meals that made me feel good instead of depriving myself. Respecting my body instead of fighting against it changed everything. Number 20, celebrate your wins no matter how small. I used to be the girl who thought that I could only celebrate once I hit a big goal. Once I lost 10 kilos, once I fit the dress, once I was there. But that mindset actually slowed me down because progress doesn't come from big milestones. It comes from thousands of tiny ones stacked together. Did you drink water instead of grabbing a Coke? Did you go for a walk when you really didn't feel like it? Did you stop eating when you feel full instead of finishing the plate out of habit? That is progress, and that's a win. The girls who win long-term are the ones who notice and celebrate these little shifts. Because when you acknowledge them, you build confidence, and confidence builds momentum. You don't have to wait until you've lost 10 kilos to be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself right now for even starting. Progress that is celebrated gets repeated. So no matter how small it feels, celebrate it, every single one. Number 21, motivation comes and goes, but habits will keep you grounded. If I relied on only motivation, I would have quit 100 times over. Motivation is amazing when it's there, but it's never consistent. It dips, it disappears, and it comes back. What keeps you going isn't motivation, it's habits. The daily routines you build that carry you through on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Habits are what creates results when motivation fades. Number 22, letting go of the wrong people creates space for the right ones. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that not everybody is meant to come with you into every version of your life. Some people are only meant to be in your story for a chapter, not the whole book. I used to hold on to friendships, relationships, even dynamics that felt heavy, just because of history, because I didn't want to be dramatic, because I thought that keeping the peace was better than choosing myself. But letting go isn't rejection, it's protection. The moment I stopped clinging to people who drained me or kept me stuck where I no longer belonged, I finally made space for people who saw me, supported me, and grew with me. You are allowed to outgrow people, and you are allowed to step away from anyone who makes you feel small. But remember, losing people isn't always a loss. Sometimes it's the beginning of finally finding yourself. Number 23, stop waiting for the perfect time. I used to tell myself, I'll start when life calms down. I'll start after the holiday. I'll start Monday. And guess what? The perfect time never came. Life is always messy, and there will always be holidays, birthdays, stress, busy weeks. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. The best time to start is always now, even if it's messy and even if it's not perfect. Number 24, you can reinvent yourself at any age. When I lost 27 kilos and started my coaching business at 25, people would say to me, "You're so lucky you figured it out young." But I don't think it's luck, and I definitely don't think it's about age. I've coached women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s who completely transformed their bodies, their habits, their confidence, and their entire identity. And honestly, some of them did it faster than the girls in their 20s because they were done playing small. They were done living for everyone else. There is no expiry date on starting over, and you are not behind. You are not too late. You are not stuck with the version of you that you've outgrown. You are allowed to wake up one morning and say, I'm not doing this version of me anymore, and choose differently, at any point and at any age. Because the moment you decide you're done living on autopilot, that's the moment everything changes. Reinvention is always available to you. Always. 25. Healing your relationship with food takes time, but it's worth it. Now, for so many years, I lived with food rules in my head. No carbs after dark, no eating past 7, cheat meals only on weekends, good foods versus bad foods. And it was exhausting, and I felt like I was constantly either on track or failing. Healing my relationship with food wasn't a switch, it was a process. It meant unlearning years of diet culture. It meant allowing foods without spiraling, leaving things on my plate without guilt, eating a burger without needing to make up for it the next day. And honestly, it was uncomfortable at first, because restriction was familiar, freedom wasn't. But the more I practiced to trust myself instead of control, the more peace I found around food. And that peace is everything. You can go on holiday and eat without fear. You can enjoy dinner with friends and not binge after. You can live a life without constantly thinking of your next meal or the last one. But it takes time. But the freedom that comes with healing is worth every step. 26. Being yourself is your greatest power. I used to try and shrink myself, filter myself, and be palatable. I thought if I softened my personality or blend in a little more, I'd be more likable, more respected, more successful, but all it did was make me feel disconnected from who I really was. The most magnetic, confident version of you is the one who isn't performing. She is just being. And the moment I stopped trying to be what I thought people wanted, I actually showed up as me, and my energy changed, my relationships changed, my business took off, and most importantly, I felt at peace. Because when you are truly yourself, You don't have to chase anything. The right people, the right opportunities, experiences, they naturally move toward you. Because authenticity is energy people can feel, and it's rare. So please remember, who you are is your superpower, not a version of you. 27. Gratitude shifts everything. I used to focus so much on what I didn't have, what I wasn't, and what I hadn't achieved yet. And all it did was make me feel stuck. When I started practicing gratitude, focusing on what I already had, what was going right, what I could be thankful for, my whole perspective changed. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring your goals, it means accepting the journey while you're on your way there. 28. The things that scare you are usually the things that grow you the most. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in my life came right after doing something that made me feel sick with fear. Starting my business, posting my first transformation photo, moving overseas alone, even walking into my first gym session where I felt so out of place. Fear isn't a sign to stop. It's usually a signal that you're about to expand, that you're doing something your future you will thank you for. If it scares you and excites you, it's probably exactly the thing you're meant to do. Growth doesn't happen inside comfort zones. It happens the moment you are willing to move, even when your voice is shaking. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to go anyway. 29. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. The people around you matter more than you think. If your circle drains you, judges you, or keeps you stuck in old habits, it's going to be almost impossible to grow. But when you surround yourself with people who inspire you, support you, and cheer for you, it changes everything. Your circle should lift you higher, not hold you down. And number 30, you are already enough, even when you're growing. If there is one lesson I wish every woman on this earth could feel in her bones, it's this one. For so long, I lived believing I had to fix myself before I could be happy. I'll love myself once I lose the weight. I'll feel confident once I look like her. I'll finally feel enough once I hit my goal. But that mindset keeps you chasing a finish line that never comes, because no matter how close you get, the bar just keeps moving. What I know now is, you don't have to arrive to be worthy. You don't have to earn your right to feel good. You are allowed to love yourself as you are, while still wanting more for yourself. Growth and self-love are not opposites. They can exist at the same time. You can be a work in progress and still be deserving of love. You can have goals and still be proud of the woman you already are. So next time you catch yourself saying, "I'll love myself when," stop and remind yourself, you are already enough, right now in this exact moment, even while you're still evolving. Because self-love isn't the reward at the end. It's the foundation that makes the journey feel safe. And that is it, 30 lessons in 30 years. Some of these came from losing 27 kilos, but some from travel, and some from stepping out of my comfort zone, and some from just living life. But all of them shaped me into the person I am today. I really hope these lessons inspired you to take action, to be kind to yourself, and to remember that growth doesn't mean that you're broken, it just means that you're evolving. So if you loved the series, please share it with your friends, tag me when you're listening, and don't forget to follow the show so you don't miss future episodes. And if you're ready for more personalized support in building a lifestyle you love, my one-on-one coaching is open. You'll find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next episode.